Okay, computer-aided drafting students, this is Mr. Voigt. I am here to make the third in a series of videos about Autodesk Revit. In the last video, I had said during the video we were going to talk about doors and windows, um, and then I had an issue. So I cut that end part out of the video just because I couldn't get done what I wanted to do. What happened is, as you can see here, I'm in Autodesk Revit 2018. I'm on my desktop computer. On my laptop computer, which is where I was filming the last video from, my license ran out and I had to download Autodesk Revit 2021. And I don't think I got downloaded when I did that. I got the program downloaded, but when you go in there and download windows and doors and walls, um, they're called libraries, and you're going to see that in here in just a moment. And I didn't get all the libraries downloaded, so I was running into some problems. Um, so here we are. I'm going to make this about windows and doors. Here is a drawing. This is eventually something you're going to draw. This is the garage. And I have my windows all in here, and I have my doors all in here, except for I don't have a couple doors here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold down my control key, and I'm just going to click all these windows and all these doors, and I'm going to get rid of them so that I can show you how to do this. These are garage doors, or what we call overhead doors. Oops. God bless it. After all of that, I had them all except for the last one selected here. So I'm doing it again. And anyway, I'm going to show you how to do this. Window, 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 window. Delete. So they're all gone. All my windows and doors are gone. So here's how you do this. It's pretty self-explanatory to a degree. And then on another level, you got to remember to do a few things. So if I open up, and I'm going to right now, the document that I gave you, Revit Introduction, it tells you what windows we want in there. So we want double hung windows in Revit, okay? I really only want 3 feet by 5 feet windows. So I really, and I can tell you right now, all the double hung windows in this garage are this height, or this size, this height and this width. So when we go back to Revit, I'm going to go up to Window, and it gives me fixed windows. Now that isn't a double hung window, so I have to go, and I'm going to have them loaded in here already. So when I click this, just like with walls, it gives me all the windows I've downloaded into from the libraries into my program here, and I can choose whatever windows I want. But the default, before you download anything, you just have the fixed family. These are called families. So what I had to do is, let's say I want that window. I go to Edit Type, and you load, and then all of these different choices are things. These are what I did not have on my new downloaded version. I did not, for some reason, check the box that said download all these things. And in each one of these little headings, there's a whole bunch of other things, right? And those are all pre-drawn entities that you can use in this program. So we got to go in there and we got to go to our windows, which is all the way at the bottom. And in here, you can see they have descriptions. An awning window, that's a type of window. Skylights, casement windows, another type of window. And there we are, double hung windows. We just want these right here. So I just click that, double click it, and these are all the different sizes they have of double hung windows. Now, if you go back and look at our document, we need 3 by 5, right? Well, they don't have any 3 feet by 5 foot windows exactly. They're close, 3'2" by 2'8". 3'2" by 5'2", and so on. But I want 3 foot by 5 foot. So what I'm going to do, I would click here and I would say OK. So what I just did is I downloaded, when I come back over here, a 32, I don't even see it in here right now, should be 32 by 62 window. And for some reason, it's not here. Let me try it again. Load, windows, double hung, right there. Okay. If that didn't load, I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but here's double hung window. We're going to look at what we got here. I do not. There it is right there, 38 by 62. Maybe I was blind last time and didn't see it, but there it is. As you can see, I already have a 3-foot by 5-foot window. How I made that was I downloaded this window, I opened it, and gosh darn it. I opened it, there it is, and I edited it. I duplicated it, and in here, I typed 30 by 60. Well, it's not going to let me make the same window twice, so I'm just going to say 35.5 times 60. So that's the name of my window. Now, obviously, you're going to want to type 36 by 60. And then all I have to do is come down here on my width. I wanted 36 wide, right, by 60 wide. I want that to say 36 by 60, and I want it to be 36 by 60. I can't put that title in there right now because I already did this. So it's not going to let me duplicate the same thing twice. And then I would just say, okay. And as you can see, I come over here, and there I have it. Now, as you just saw, that is going to have the same attributes as that. Okay. I'll go in here and I'll delete this later because I really don't want this window in here. But anyway, once I do that, then I can just click that window and I can come over here and I can place my windows wherever I need them. And I tell you in there where to place them. In fact, up here, I tell you to place them right next to one another. Just like that. Over here, I do the same thing. Now, there's also double hung windows that you can download that are already doubled like this, that are already double in width. I chose to have you do it this way just so that you could see this. So I got out of the window command, so I don't know why I did that. I hit escape. And anyway, so you'd go through and you'd place these wherever I told you to place them. Well, where did I tell you to place them in? First thing I got to show you here is these little arrows. Those are the exterior side of your window. So wherever you have a window, you got to make sure those are facing the outside of your building. It places them kind of randomly sometimes. I think there's a pattern to it. I don't really pay much attention because I can change it so easily. You just got to kind of recognize that they're like that. Okay, if you go back, so I think there's actually one in here, so I'll go ahead and throw this one in, something like that. I give you dimensions then on where to put these windows. So when I click this, as you can see, I don't have my temporary dimensions like I talked about in the last video. Because we changed the attributes of this window, I believe I have to go here, and every time I click one, I have to activate it. You can also see that because, as I talked about in the last video, I went to Manage, I went to Additional Settings, and I went to Temporary Dimensions. I set this to reference my faces of my walls and the opening edges instead of the center lines of the walls and the doors. Okay, so when I click that window and I say Activate Dimensions, see how they go to the edges of the opening and they go to over here, the inside edge of the wall, because that's what I told it to do. I want to look at where this window gets placed, but this window gets placed in reference to garage doors that I put on the front of this garage. So I'm going to show you how to put doors in here, and then we're going to come back and put these windows and these doors in the proper places. So just like when you do windows, you go to door, and it has a certain door in here that I've downloaded. It gives you these are your default doors that are in there when you start. I've downloaded these, and I've downloaded this for this project. How I did that is the same way I did it with Windows. I come right there to edit, I go to load, I go to doors. Usually I get them out of residential. And for instance, and this is in the instructions. The door garage embossed panel is what I tell you to do down here on doors, right here. Door garage embossed panel, 96 by 84. Okay, so you go in here and you choose that. Actually, if you just choose that door, if I click it and say open, it will download and it'll give me those choices over here. So if I come back over here, it downloaded two of those doors, two different sizes. This is an 8-foot wide, and that's 16 feet wide by 7 feet tall. So I'm going to go ahead and click the 8-foot wide one because that's what my instructions say. And I'm going to place these doors in here. Okay, so now, see those dotted lines? Those are the tracks. This is an overhead door, and if you go into your garage, that door rolls up onto these tracks. And instead of trying to fight which way it puts them in there, again, just like with the windows, if I click that door, the arrows go on the exterior side of the building. So I just click those and it flips those things on the inside. I find it easier to change it if it doesn't place them right. Then there's ways that you can reference certain parts of the wall to get it to draw it in there perfectly, but I don't really worry about that. So my instructions also tell me that when I click this door, I want to be 1 foot 11 inches off this outside edge. So you see how I pull that dot out, and I'm already lining up with my edge. So I want to be 1 foot 11 inches off that outside edge, just like that. So it moved that whole door over. Okay, I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to reference my next door because remember, what you have highlighted is what moves. And between the center of this door, so how do I get to the center? I grab that dot and I pull center, grab that dot, and I have sometimes it'll give me that reference line. I want that to be 10 feet. Now, since I have this door highlighted, when I hit enter, it'll move that door over because we were at 9 foot something. Then I come over here, same thing, pull that over to the center. Oops, didn't do it. There we go. Pull that over to the center. 10 feet. Oops, I think I had the middle door highlighted, didn't I? I did. See how that works? You got to keep track of this. So I want to highlight that one. There we go. 10 feet. So now, this door, it's 10 feet from the center of this to the center of this, and 10 feet from the center of this to the center of this. And my instructions say these windows need to be directly in the center of each door. So how do I do that? If I click this door, if I pull this to the center, it gives me a measurement. From the outside wall to the center of my door is 6 feet. So if I come up here and click my window, remember I have to activate my dimensions, come to the center of my window, to the outside of my wall, I'm going to type 6 feet, and it moved it over. And just like before, click my next window over, activate my dimensions, center of my window. See, I might have to put my cursor up there, center of my window. That's going to be 10 feet. Highlight my next window, activate my dimensions, center of window, 10 feet. So now, when I scroll back out, I am exactly in the center of those 3 doors. That's how you set windows. Again, like anything else, because we modified this, you got to get your temporary dimensions up. You got to make sure that you're referencing the right places. So if you need to reference the center of a window or the edge of a window, you can either set up your defaults up here in your Manage tab and your additional settings, or you can just move these dots. Sometimes you have to do both, right? So anyway, your job is to read the instructions, get the proper windows and the proper doors in the proper places. Sometimes I give you a little bit of freedom to put things where they need to go, and other times I tell you exactly where they need to go. Read the instructions and get things where they're supposed to be. Okay, what I'm probably going to do is overlay your building onto my building to see if things line up where they're supposed to. and you use the proper things. So that's how you do windows and doors. In the next video, we're going to talk about components. So you can see we have components in here. I have furniture in here. I have cabinets in here. I have a table and chairs in here, a shower, a toilet. I was going to put some shop equipment in here, but they're hard to find. There isn't any in the default parts, or at least I couldn't find any in the default parts of Revit. I'm sure they have some somewhere on the web. I just haven't gone to the trouble of downloading them. So as of right now, we'll put what we have in here in there. And again, those are in your instructions. So that'll be on the next video.